The American people actually support the war in Afghanistan? I would say largely yes. It was only later when anti-war opposition started to materialize, when it was clear that this was indeed an endless war because the U.S. could not win. After September 11th in 2001, the rage and grief of the American people was so great that even an unpopular president like George W. Bush was able to harness public support for his administration. Nothing works better than a war. In fact, a big part of the American left supported the war in Afghanistan. I was a national director of the Answer Coalition. We were organizing protests against the war in Afghanistan, and I can tell you, important forces within the American peace movement were loath to come out against the invasion, the bombing of Afghanistan. In New York City, on October 7th, 2001, the day of the invasion, we were all at a big peace demonstration down at Union Square, 10,000 people, and it was announced that the U.S. had invaded Afghanistan and began the bombing of Afghanistan. The Answer Coalition started chanting, "Stop the bombing of Afghanistan," and the other sectors of a peace demonstration refused to join in. There was a lot of confusion, not only among the American people writ large, but even within the peace movement, within the U.S. left. And the U.S. military, the government, basically had a free hand because of the absence of anti-war sentiment on Afghanistan. We made the argument that not only was the war unjust, there were no Afghans on the planes that attacked the World Trade Center. Most of the people in Afghanistan had never heard of the World Trade Center, and yet hundreds of thousands of Afghans died. The actual catalyst for the continuation and expansion of the war and the insurgency was the foreign occupation itself. People don't want to live under foreign occupation. Don't we know that from Korea, from Vietnam? The Afghans are no different. They don't want to live under foreign occupation. They don't want foreigners patrolling their streets. They don't want foreigners to drop bombs on their villages from 30,000 feet. The Taliban had this little expression. They said, "You have the clocks, but we have the time," meaning they had the time to stay and resist and fight. So we in the anti-war movement knew that this would be like Vietnam. The U.S. soldier wants to go home. The Afghan resistance fighter is home. And that makes all the difference.